What's up? It's Don't Accept Reality, and today we're going to discuss the 3 things you should ask yourself when it comes to renting versus buying. And the first question you should ask yourself is, are you financially fit? Are you financially fit, meaning do you have the credit score necessary to qualify for a mortgage loan? Then you have to ask yourself, do you have a low debt to income ratio? Is it lower than that 43% mark? And you also got to see if you have the down payment necessary to get that mortgage loan, or necessary to meet that mortgage loan. Or if you decide to find a program that offers $0 down, like unless you're a veteran and you have the VA loan, for example, can you afford closing costs? These are things that you have to take into account when trying to figure out if you want to rent versus buy. Because if you can't pay the closing costs, if your credit score isn't on point, if you don't have that 43% or lower debt to income ratio, then maybe you should rent. And the second question you should ask yourself is, how long are you going to live here? So for a lot of military members, college students, just for example, like you go to these places, you're at these ports or these bases or at these universities, and you're there, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe 2-3 years, depending on your orders, depending on how long you have left with school. You have to ask yourself, how long do you plan on living there? Is that somewhere that you want to live forever? That's a good question to ask, because if you don't plan on living there forever, then you might not want to deal with the hassle of having a rental property in that area. You might not love that area. I get it. But if the market is hot, so that's one thing for me. I feel like if the market is hot in that area, and you already asked yourself question 1, are you financially fit? And you are financially fit, and you have the means to be able to live in that city, even if it's not somewhere that you want to live forever, then maybe you should buy it because it's familiar. You know, the market's hot. You know, you're going to get a nice investment, and you'll see the equity in that house grow. So that's just something that you do have to take in consideration with question number 2 versus renting versus buying. So when it comes to that question, I say it's neutral more than anything. It can be neutral. You can have mixed feelings on that area, that city. You might not really be feeling it. Then you don't have to buy. Renting would be the best option, because you'll be able to stack some money up and leave when necessary, leave when your lease is up. And the last question you should ask yourself, number 3, is what are your monthly payments? What are your monthly payments? Can you afford that monthly mortgage payment? All it depends on which market that you're in. Because if you're in a big market like San Francisco, Seattle, New York, maybe renting is your best option. Maybe the market is too hot, and maybe it's just a bad time to buy it because the housing market is sky high, skyrocketing. It's almost untouchable. But say you're in a smaller market, Las Vegas, say you're in Arizona, say you're in Atlanta, maybe buying a house is a lot cheaper than maybe renting, or maybe it's very equal. So if it's equal, then it's like a no-brainer. It's like, why not buy that house? Especially if question 2 has already been answered and you can see yourself living there for a very long time. Then there's no reason for you not to buy. But I can see why people rent in these bigger markets, these hotter markets, like the San Franciscos, the Seattles, the New Yorks. That's something that has to cross your mind when it comes to renting versus buying, because nobody should have to rent. I'm 100% for buying. I'm 100% for ownership. I want to see everybody be able to own some land, own some real estate, have something that you're able to pass down. If you're not financially fit, if you're unsure how long you want to live there, maybe you can't afford that monthly payment. Those are 3 things that you have to really ask yourself and answer truthfully before you get into the debate of renting versus buying. It's just something that you have to ask yourself, be honest about, because you don't want to start a mortgage loan process and not be comfortable or prepared for emergencies. Or you might buy a house that doesn't increase in value because it's not in a good market. It's just, you want to make sure that the location is right, the market's hot, somewhere you want to live forever and you feel comfortable. That way you'll always be happy with that investment. And can you afford it? Are you financially stable? You have to answer these questions. I hope you guys were able to take something away from the 3 things that you should ask yourself when it comes to renting versus buying, and you're able to apply it in whatever city that you're located in or whatever city that you may be thinking about moving to. I want you guys to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. I truly appreciate you guys. Hey, what's going on, guys? Don't accept reality here. I have an ebook out called The Active Duty and Veteran First Time Homebuyers Guide. And in my guide, I'm giving you a step-by-step process on how to reach home ownership comfortably and with knowledge, and it's just preparing you for the unexpected things that I wish I would have known when going through my home buying process. The link to the ebook is in the description. Check it out, and I truly appreciate you guys.